welcome to the Montage Bookshelf. I'm Gabrielle Carolina, and I'm going to be talking to you about my favorite books that I read this year. This first installment is Limitless. That means that these books didn't necessarily have to debut or be published in the year 2011. I just had to have read them this year. Today, I should mention, is December 6, 2011, and today, bam, I'm closing the gates. Any book I read after today, I will not consider read in this year. So it's a calendar year. Jellicoe Road, I just have no words. This book changed my writing, just in the way Marchetta tells it, in the way the characters are engaged, not only in telling a story, but telling their story. That really influenced this book I'm writing. Many of you have started this book and haven't finished, and I'm staring you down right now because I understand it's complex and confusing and you don't quite know what's going on, but I guarantee you that at some point when that switch flips and you do understand what's going on, you're so invested in it, it'll change your life. Please go read my review. I mean every word. I even took out the first line, which is where I said the book wasn't perfect, because upon a reread, I feel like it really was. Fire by Kristen Kishore is helping me write my other set of books, which is a YA series with some pretty kick-butt heroines, I like to think. The first few drafts of the book are very divided. There was definitely good cop, bad cop happening, and good cop was like Mary Sue, and bad cop was just, she was a witch with a B. I was so set on defining them that I didn't let anything other than the cliched things happen to them. And then I read Fire, and Fire began to turn my head because Fire is the name of the heroine in this book. Fire struck me. She was this heroine that was so strong, but she cried. I think there's something achingly breathtaking about that. That she had this strength, and she was very aware of her possession of it, and very aware that she was a heinous creature in a way, but she was so gentle and kind and loving. Somehow this all existed. This person, this realistic person, and that really changed how I wrote my girls. And now we no longer have good cop, bad cop. We're more with both of them in that gray area. The girl I thought was bad cop's kind of got that softer, sad, diminished quality, and the girl I thought was good cop is actually the harder of the two. It was very surprising when I let that ambiguity set in, what came out of it. So thank you to Kristen Kishore and to Fire. I'm proud to say this is my second favorite read of 2011. My third favorite I have two of. Don't ask me why, okay? I cried incredibly hard reading Iron Queen. It was the sobby, choky, snot running. Not to insult Julie. Not to insult Julie. But this is not Jellicoe Road, you know? It's not that contemporary that guts you, and, like, that's the point. It was so intriguing that I was crying because I hated Megan in the first book. I thought she was so typical and selfish and such a human. And next to Ash and Puck and even the memory of Ariella, she was so not worth sacrifices. I didn't believe in her. When I started crying, I realized how much I did believe in her. I realized how much she'd grown on me because she'd grown so much. I realized how much this series meant to me. I hate when people talk about books being entertaining and all that, because I'm like, if you're not invested, why are you reading them? I realized how invested I was. I realized just how much I needed Ash and Megan to be together, and how much I needed her to thrive and grow and continue to be a wonderful heroine. And I think that Julie absolutely did right by her readers and by her characters with the way she ended Megan's journey. Oh, I was just crying and crying and crying. Fourth favorite, Anna and the French Kiss by Stephanie Perkins. I went to the signing. Actually, that's one of the most popular posts on my blog, is the signing I went to. It says, to Gabrielle, Vive, rêver, aimer, which is live, laugh, love. I lived, laughed, and loved reading this. I lived in Paris, I laughed at my friends, and I loved this boy. I still love this boy. I've read Lola. She's not on my list. It's Anna and Etine for me. I'm a big fan of the two of them. I'm a big fan of Paris. I'm a big fan of going to Paris with this handsome boy when I'm reading. I'm actually glad I waited until the hype had died down a little because I just got to put myself in this book. Someone wants me. People, I'll be back. I'm filming something, so I have to get back to it. Since you watch them, you should be grateful you have more footage. You do watch them. That was my grandmama. Watches my vlogs. It's actually very sweet. Fifth favorite is A Great and Terrible Beauty by Libba Bray. I do have to say with this book, this changed my writing too. I was on my first draft when I read this book, and it began to prove to me that I needed more of a supernatural element to the books. A friend of mine, who's actually, her book is in this list, it hasn't come up yet, read it and was like, so this is a contemporary. Did you mean it to be? No. The way Libba did it, she absolutely meant for her characters to feel modern. At some point, speaking of divergent, there had to be someone in history who diverged from the given path in order for us to be where we are today. I'm wearing pants, I'm working, I get to go to school, and I get to vote. There had to be people like Gemma Doyle and Felicity and Pippa who were the trailblazers, fought for us to be these women. And just the way she balanced the paranormal, the historical fiction, the contemporary ideals, made me want to rewrite the book. It's very easy to just be like, it's what I wrote, whatever. But when I started rewriting it, it became a book I'd be willing to rewrite to the end of the earth. You have to get it to that place where you actually care enough to tear it down as often as need be. And I definitely say that A Great and Terrible Beauty helped me do that. So, thank you to Libba Bray. I feel like I'm being like, and since I'm an author, I'm going to talk to you about my books till the cows come home. Speaking of diverging from the path, Divergent by Veronica Roth. I have a feeling if I'd reread it before now that it would be higher on this list. Unlike reading Anne and the French Kiss, I read it at the height of its hype. Everyone was talking about it, and everyone was buzzing about it. And the hype getting to you is definitely one of those reasons why sometimes you don't enjoy a book as much as you thought. You kind of breeze through it too fast, and you don't soak up things because you're just trying to feel what everyone else is feeling instead of living in the book as a personal experience. I've been thinking about this book all year. It's not left me. The longer I've thought about it, the more I realize I missed something. And it's not that I missed it, like, it was totally good. But I missed connecting with it. So there you go. I'm going to prepare you real quick. And actually, my grandmother, as I mentioned, is watching this. So, Grandmama, don't be ashamed of your only child granddaughter. You only have one. She has no brothers, got no siblings of any kind, barely have cousins. Have cousins, they're just so much older than me or younger than me. I never see them. All by myself. I don't have brothers or sisters, and I think incest is cool. No. So I really like incest in books, apparently. Because the next 3 books on my list are all about incest. Hold on to your hats, okay? First one is Illyria by Elizabeth Hand. Oh my gosh. Achingly beautiful. I do think it should have been an adult. I think it should have expanded, therefore making the adult an easier transition. But as it is still beautiful. Almost incest we have. These are just cousins. Just cousins, and they fall in love, and it's got Shakespeare in it and theater. So it's just yummy, yummy, yummy. They're twins. But Stephanie Dray, who is one of my best author friends, handles it in such a way that it is completely readable. I read this like back in January, and we were not close. We grew close because of my bravado for this book. This book is fantastic. It is historical fiction. It is a debut. It debuted this year, and not enough people have read it. Go out and read this, and then pick up the sequel because my name is in the sequel. It is. I edited it. It was fantastic. It's one of my favorite things that's ever happened in my life. So, read the book. It's about the twins of Cleopatra, what happens after they leave Egypt, their struggle, their triumph, their failures, and so little is known about these characters that a great deal of this novel is thought up by Stephanie. I can't say enough good things about this book, and I know it's kind of down on the list. I don't understand. Compiling a top 10 of books is like saying, here are 10 different candy bars. Pick which one you like best. It's chocolate! The last of the incest books, and you've all heard of it. Forbidden is fabulous, fantastic, phenomenal, freaky, far-reaching, about family, and it is so worth the read. Brother and sister fall in love and deal with the fallout. Tabitha Suzuma, I bow to you! And the 10th book is A Need So Beautiful by Suzanne Young. This is another one I cried over. Going through a really rough time this past year. These books, I mean, I could talk more about that. I tried to more focus on how they've helped me write, because writing's helped me get better. This book, I really am going to cry for this one. The idea of it, the idea of being forgotten and fading away and being alone, for all of that, it hit me when I needed it, and it hit me pretty hard. The book, even if you weren't dealing with what I was dealing with, I think you would still find the book utterly fantastic and beautiful. The sequel, A Want So Wicked, which has, I think, the best title ever. It's coming out this July. I'm so excited. I just want to thank Suzanne Young from the bottom of my heart. Charlotte means a great deal to me. And so does this book. And so it tops off the top 10. Yeah, they're all stacked right here. So that is my top 10. Top 10 of 2011. Let me know what your top 10 was, and check back on the blog, because I'm going to be doing a couple other wrap-up vlogs about the books I read this year.